Hey folks, a quick roundup of SaaS news in the last fortnight, relevant to all SaaS founders. Of course, there is the news of Freshworks going IPO. It is a history-making moment for all SaaS founders in India. It has unlocked the floodgates for many more IPOs to come. At least 100 more IPOs will come from India. Along with Freshworks, there are two more IPOs that happened in the last 2 weeks. One being Toast, which is a cloud platform for restaurants, and GitLab, and both of them listed really well. And if you take these three IPOs, then in 2021, about 21 IPOs had happened. In 2020, about 16 IPOs had happened, and it was called as a blockbuster year for SaaS IPO. Now, in 2021, it is already a mega blockbuster, and we have three more months to go. One thing to note about all these IPOs is that these companies, they started roughly around the 2010-11 timeframe. So it's a 10-year cycle. That's the amount of time it takes for a company to go IPO. And they all have similar characteristics. That the decade before that was all about enterprise software. The last decade was about SaaS. And this industry has grown really, really big, close to about $2 trillion of enterprise value. But the thing is that this industry is just getting started. As the CEO of Vimeo said, we are not even scratching the surface of the SaaS industry. It is going to grow even further and even bigger. What is going to be different is that the coming decade is going to be fundamentally different. And that's the change that many people are talking about. Now, whether it is Ravi, a founder of a SaaS company called Heap, who ran a SaaS company in 2013 and now again did it in 2021. And he wrote a blog post which became a little viral in terms of saying many things have changed. The amount of seed money that is available has changed. The amount of public companies which are more than $1 billion valuation, that has increased many-fold. How you do go-to-market has fundamentally changed. Or even what the report from Battery Venture talks about, that fundamentally how these businesses are measured, there is a lot more sophistication in that. Back in the days, people used to evaluate gap metrics. They would look at unit economics for consumer companies, and in a very similar way, look at unit economics for enterprises, B2B companies. And that led to a little more sophistication for SaaS companies in terms of looking at annual recurring revenue, net dollar retention rate since the last 3 years, those kind of metrics. But there is more sophistication right now. This sophistication shows the strength of the SaaS businesses. You can't look at the SaaS business through the same unit economics lens that you look at in a B2C kind of a company, B2C kind of a public company. You'll have to look at how the flywheel is getting created. You'll have to look at cohort economics, and you will have to look at what is the annuity graph for some of these SaaS companies that are coming up. What is also fundamentally going to be different is the last 3 years, many companies have proven that you can build the foundation of growth of a SaaS company on a great product experience and product-led growth. Note, product-led growth does not mean that you have a product and there is growth that is happening. Product-led growth means that you have a CAC that is equal to 0. You are not investing as much into sales and marketing, but still there is growth that is happening. That's what companies like Twilio, Zoom, and many other product-led growth companies have been able to establish. So this is a fundamental transformation that is happening in the SaaS industry. So the next decade will see very different playbooks, and the playbook that worked in the previous decade from 2010 to 21 will not apply as much for the companies that are growing in the next decade. Finally, the third most important event that happened in this last 2 weeks is the biggest in the history of ValueSaaS, which is Mailchimp was acquired by Intuit. Mailchimp was already very successful 20 years ago. They were capital efficient, they were growing really well, growing fast, and they were an idol to many software companies. Now, what had happened in the last 2 weeks with this acquisition is that the whole world noticed when they saw this eye-popping $12 billion number. Now, if you think about it, it's not very expensive. Mailchimp had $900 million of revenue. So from that perspective, it is really only 11x, where the public market multiple today is about 15x. But it was awesome to see that a bootstrapped company that does not give away control while they are trying to grow, get to this outcome, and that will inspire many founders to take this path as well.